What up everybody, it's Norman Woods and today I'm going to make a video about frontside nose slides. I'm making this video from one of the comments in my last video. If you haven't checked it yet, I'll leave a link in the description. Someone recommended me do a tutorial on frontside nose slides. I thought that it was perfect since the last video was back tails, and so here we go. First off, you should be able to ollie. If you can't ollie, I made a video on them. I'll link that in the description as well. You should be able to do a nose slide, and you're in luck because I made a video on nose slides. When I say nose slide, typically I mean backside nose slide. I went over that in the video as well. Typically when someone says nose slide and they don't add frontside or backside, they're talking about the backside nose slide. I'll leave a link in the description. You should also be able to roll pretty quickly and turn backside because this is going to require that plus an ollie. You don't have to be able to backside 180 because we're only turning 90 degrees here. But if you can, it wouldn't hurt. The next thing that I'm going to say before we get into the nuts and bolts of the trick is you should try this on a curb first. It's going to be difficult to do this on a curb without ollieing, like slappy front nose slides. Those are really difficult. It's easier if you just give it a little tiny ollie. So yeah, you should learn how to do this on a curb. Use the same steps that I'm going to outline here, and then take it up to a ledge and everywhere else from there. The first step is you're gonna roll parallel to the ledge or curb, and your back foot is gonna be in the ollie box. I talk about the ollie box in almost all of my videos, other than like tray flip, and I can't even think of another trick that I've made a tutorial on where you don't use the ollie box, but it's definitely in the ollie video, and the link is in the description. So your back foot is in that ollie box. Your front foot is going to be about halfway up the board. So just in the center, maybe a little bit in front of the center, but you don't want it so far up that it's over the bolts or something like that. And with your front foot, you want your entire foot to be across the board. But something that's important here, and with a lot of other tricks, I've mentioned it in other videos as well, is that we want to have our weight on our toes. So with the back foot especially, our heels should be off of the board completely. Like our heels shouldn't be touching the board on our back foot. With the front foot, you can have your heel slightly touching the board, but you really want the bulk of your weight resting on your toes. Okay? So once you got the posture right, you're parallel with the ledge, you got your back foot in the ollie box, you got your front foot across the entire board about halfway up, you are going to crouch. And then after you crouch, the first step that we take is we turn our front shoulder, so in my case that would be my right shoulder since I'm goofy footed, towards the ledge, right? And as we're turning our front shoulder towards the ledge, that's when we start to pop. And since we've crouched as low as we possibly can, we're going to pop with our legs beginning to rise. But quick reminder, we never want to straighten out our legs completely, especially when we're doing a grind or a slide, because we need leverage. And when your legs are straight, you have no leverage and thus no balance. So yeah, we're turning our shoulder toward the ledge, and as we're turning our shoulder towards the ledge, we're starting to pop, right? Now, after we pop, our nose is going to hit the ledge, and as our nose hits the ledge, we want our shoulders to go back to being parallel with the ledge because that's going to allow us to slide. And when we're on the ledge, our posture is also pretty important. We want our front foot to be in the little pocket between the nose and the bolts, right? So just in that pocket where the front of our front foot is on the nose, but the center of it, the weight of it is in that little pocket. Their heels can be on the board, but they don't want to be touching the board completely. We don't want any of our weight to be resting on our heels. And then as far as our back foot goes, that's going to be in the pocket between the tail and the bolts, right? But different from the front foot, we actually want our toes to be on the edge of the board, kind of pushing it, and we want our heels on our back foot to be completely off the board. So it gives it that pushing look. If you guys have seen a photo of a front nose, you've seen a video of a front nose, the best ones always have the back foot kind of pushing the board forward, and that gives you a little push and helps you slide. And then while you're sliding, you want your legs to be crouched, and you want to be staring at your front foot and at the ledge. So you're going to be looking down and you're going to be looking at your front foot and the ledge. This is going to help you slide as well. You're going to have your core your quads and your biceps activated as you're sliding, because that just gives us strength. So we need leverage and we need strength to be able to balance and slide as long as we want to. And the slide's going to be very short in the beginning. The more comfortable you get with the trick, the more comfortable you'll get with sliding longer. So now we want to come out, right? And it is a very simple trick to come out of. In the beginning, you'll probably be trying this on a curb that doesn't have an ending. So when you get in and you're ready to come out, you're going to simply turn your shoulders the opposite way that you turned them to get into the slide. So you're going to turn your shoulder, your front shoulder, slightly the way you would for a frontside 180. And then you're going to allow your legs to follow you out. And then it's very important for this trick that when we land, our knees are bent and we crouch more to absorb the impact. And that's pretty much it for how you do a frontside nose slide. So a quick recap. We're going to go parallel to the ledge ideally. We're going to have our back foot in the ollie box. We're going to have our front foot halfway up the board. We're going to crouch. We're going to turn our shoulder, our front shoulder towards the ledge. So we're going to turn it like in the backside direction towards the ledge. And then we're going to start to pop. And as we pop, we're going to start to push our legs up so that we can get some height, but not all the way up. We want to remain crouched. When we get on the ledge, we want to be looking at our front foot and at the ledge. We want our shoulders to be parallel with the ledge again. We want our front foot in the pocket between the nose and the bolts. And we want our back foot to be slightly pushing the board forward, only the toes resting on the board, heels completely off. We're going to engage our core, quads, and biceps in order to balance. And when we're ready to turn off, we're going to turn our shoulders away from the ledge. So we're going to turn our shoulders like we would for a frontside 180. We're going to follow that with our legs. And then when we land, we're going to crouch to absorb the impact. That's the basics for the trick. Now I'll give you a few more pro tips. So one thing that I can tell you is that in the beginning, it's going to help you. And this is similar to my backside nose slide video. If you don't roll parallel to the ledge in the beginning, you want to start off at a slight angle. And what that angle is, I'm going to leave up to you, but I'd say start with at least like a 45-degree angle towards the ledge. And then once you get comfortable popping onto your front nose at that 45-degree angle, just make it a smaller and smaller angle until you're finally parallel with the ledge. And being parallel is going to greatly assist you when it comes to sliding farther. Another tip that I'm going to give you is when I do my frontside nose slides, I imagine that when I pop, I'm shifting my weight from over the tail in the center of the board to over the nose in the center of the board. So that when I start off, that back foot that's in with my toes in the ollie box and the center of the board where my front leg is, my weight's resting in between those two. And when I do the ollie, I imagine myself jumping from one side of the board to the other. So that means when I get onto the ledge, my weight is going to be resting over my nose and the center of the board. So the opposite of where it was resting when I popped. And then once I've done that, all I have to do is crouch and engage those muscle groups that I told you about in order to slide. And that helps me quite a bit. So that's all the tips that I have for you for frontside nose slide, other than making sure that your ledge is nicely waxed. And don't try to go too fast when you start this out. Start out slow. If you don't slide in the beginning, that's okay. And the more comfortable you become, just start to speed it up slowly, kind of like you do with the angle that you're attacking the ledge from. And that's how you do a frontside nose slide. I want to thank my patrons who support me. You can consider joining. I'll leave a link in the description. You get access to the videos early, and at certain tiers you get more rewards. The highest tier being people who get once a month video conference lessons with me. If that's something you're interested in, check it out. Link in the description. Also check out Collage Skateboards, my brand, www.collagesskateboards.com. And yeah, enjoy your skateboarding.